Well, look, I've invited Herschel Walker on my radio show. I've invited the other Senate candidates. I've had Calvin King, who's running that Republican primary. I was on my show last week. Gary Black, who's the current agricultural secretary, who's is going to be coming up in the new year. I hope Herschel will come on. But, Herschel down here is known as CTE patient zero. He's not all the way there. And I think the Republicans are making a grave mistake nominating, so if they try to nominate somebody like Herschel Walker. We've already given all the numbers and all the hermeneutics going into this election. This should be a landslide for Republicans. If you just put default Republican in there, they should win this seat going away versus Warnock, because it was an aberration year with Democrats taking both Warnock and Ossoff and Joe Biden winning the state of Georgia. So without Donald Trump on the ballot, without everything going on in 2020, Republicans should have a very good chance of winning. But when you have someone like Herschel Walker, who might be the nominee, you are talking about running an admitted woman beater, somebody who beat his former wife, who is a domestic violence attacker, and you're going to run him against a Baptist minister in the South. What is wrong with Republicans? You're going to take somebody who literally beat women for 20 years and does not live in the state of Georgia and run them against a Baptist minister. So I think that Republicans are going to have to rethink this. They should take another look at Calvin King, another look at Gary Black, that they want any chance of winning. But this is just another in a long line of gaffes that Herschel Walker has made and is going to make. And when your son is the best spokesperson for the campaign, complaining about gas prices and a $1,200 hoodie, I don't think a worse mistake can be made by Republicans than nominating somebody like Herschel Walker, who, I repeat, beats women, and they want to run him against a Baptist minister. You can't make a worse mistake than that in the state of Georgia.
Monique. You on mute?
I said he's just not a serious person.
Roland, let me tell you what you should do. And I know you can get this done. You should put together a 1 or 2 minute piece on all of Herschel Walker's gaffes and when he's, as well as when you can't understand it. I can't really understand it. I don't know what his language is. So he doesn't have to be bright, but he got to be able to communicate. Not just every time I've heard it, I can't put a string of English sentences together, or the King's English or the Queen's English. So I'm not sure what to think. I wish you had the video so I could hear it. But in any event, I don't know. I can't really take him very serious. Trump's backing him. I mean, he manifests the ignorance of a number, not all, a number of Republican supporters and voters in Georgia who like all that idiocy and all that stuff, that minstrel show, if you will. And so I guess you gotta cover it, but I think you're gonna have to slap him a few times before the general, as well as the primary, as well as the general. I think you're gonna have to slap.
But also, let's not forget.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's not forget, though, the Republicans nominated and elected Tommy Tuberville in our neighboring state of Alabama to the United States Senate. So for Republicans, you do not have to be a PhD or well-spoken in order to be a United States Senator. You've got to be involved in SEC football. That's pretty much their main requirement to be a United States Senator down here. So I think we cannot write off somebody like Herschel, despite his history of domestic violence, his history of mental illness, his admissions that he has committed various violent acts and torture against women throughout the years. And they will run that against a Baptist minister and say, well, look, he ran that ball back in the 80s, and that's all that they require in order to elect you to Senate. So it's a very scary place that we're in America. And I would like to see these women's groups come out and stand up, because, Roland, you've mentioned often that when it comes to Black issues, there's always Black folks standing by ourselves. We need all these national women's organizations to come out and stand up against an admitted woman's beater. We need to have all those people down here marching and protesting and pouring money into the state to ensure that you do not have somebody who is admitted to domestic violence in the United States Senate. Because how exactly can you stand up and say you really defend women if you're not going to fight back against someone like Herschel Walker, who beat women for the last 20 years?